Yeah, please.
What did you talk about with Prime Minister Carney? Are you and Canada going to resume negotiations?
No.
No deal for Canada. President Trump has dropped the hammer and basically told the Liberal government in Canada that they're not getting a deal anytime soon. This all comes shortly after President Trump canceled all negotiations with this country due to some anti-tariff ads being purchased by the government of Ontario. Doug Ford apparently thought it was a good idea to attack the person that you're trying to negotiate with. But anyways, Trump has since moved on, and he was just recently in Asia making all kinds of deals with allies in the region, such as Japan and South Korea, while Carney came back home completely empty-handed. Let's dive in. All right, so we're going to take to Twitter. We're going to check out this tweet by Mark Nixon, where he posted a video of Senator Kennedy talking about Canada not really wanting free trade, and the Liberal government in Canada, led by Mark Carney, actually using Trump as a reason for them to stay in power and continue to manipulate Canadians into thinking the Americans are the enemy. You know, Trump is the enemy, elbows up, while they continue to destroy Canada. So the tweet says, boom, Senator Kennedy breaks his silence on Mark Carney. If he wanted Canada to win, he would drop all U.S. tariffs to zero and demand Trump do the same. Carney doesn't want prosperity. He wants a trade war to grab power. This is about control, not about Canada. Let's have a listen to what the senator had to say.
Here's my point. I don't want to be at war with Canada. I don't want to have a trade war with Canada. I want us to continue to be friends. I made this suggestion to the new Prime Minister of Canada the other day, Prime Minister Carney. I'm going to make it again. And I hope this time he'll take it more seriously.
Yeah, good luck.
Remember, if you want to be taken seriously, you have to act seriously. If you want respect, you have to act respectfully. Prime Minister Carney, you say that President Trump is not a fair trader. And I understand your point of view. I don't agree with you, but I understand your point of view. You've got to stand up for your people. If Prime Minister Carney, if you believe in free trade, then here's what you do. Make this offer today. Offer to go to zero tariffs in Canada on American goods. No tariffs. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. And challenge America to remove all of our tariffs on Canada.
Common
so
sense.
The people of Canada can sell their goods to Americans without a tariff, and the people of America can sell their goods to our friends in Canada without a tariff. Zero tariffs. Let Canadian businesses and American businesses compete. Competition makes all of us better. That's one of the shared values that we have with our friends in Canada.
Not anymore, Senator. Today's Canada does not believe in competition. Today's Canada does not believe in capitalism. I mean, you can argue that they never truly believed in capitalism in the way that the Americans do, because Canada has always had protectionist policies. It's just now they're way out in the open because Trump has exposed it to the world. Canada has something called supply management. Anyone who lives north of the border, like myself, will tell you. The Canadian government, particularly under the Liberals, but even under the so-called Conservatives in Canada, they'll bend over backwards. They'll go to great lengths to protect what they call the Quebec Dairy Cartel. It's basically this group of well-connected farmers dairy farmers that is, who lobby lawmakers in Canada, both the Conservatives as well as the Liberals and everything in between. You basically can't touch them. Canada will literally ruin its own economy to protect that group of well-connected farmers out in Quebec.
But we've had these tariffs. We don't call them tariffs. We call them supply management.
Yep, fair. Yep.
But that's been on since I'm 60 years old, and these have been on since I was a kid. And then yesterday, Donald Trump was sitting right across Carney with 7 other leaders from Asia, and they're in the meeting, and they started talking about tariffs, and it's a hot mic moment, and Trump said, we never had tariffs on any of our trading partners anywhere around the world. But there's countries that have had them on us for decades, and they refuse to remove them. And we all agree, tariffs make consumers pay more.
Sure.
Consumers are bad.
Yeah.
So, but it's really hypocritical of Canada saying that they don't want tariffs, and yet we refuse to drop the tariffs. Even when before Carney was elected, a bunch of premiers went down to Washington, and then they said, everything's on the table. Everything's on the table. We're so desperate. We don't want these tariffs from the States. And then so a reporter asked, are you going to drop the dairy tariff? And then the Quebec premier stepped forward and says, absolutely not.
If Canada wanted actual free trade, they would drop all tariffs. There'll be 0 tariffs on all products. And like the senator says, we would have an open market. You know, that would be the ultimate offer any country can receive. Like the ability to trade with the biggest economy in the world on equal terms with 0 tariffs on both sides of the border. Canada has that opportunity. Trump has extended that opportunity multiple times. The issue, again, is special interest groups being protected by the Canadian government, especially the Liberal government of Canada. Like I said, Trump has since moved on. Trump is not going to wait for Canada to get its act together, and he's moved on. This was recently at the Asian summit out in Asia. Trump met with multiple allies in the region. You have, I'm pretty sure that's the Prime Minister of Australia, who just recently signed a deal with the United States. Go figure. That's the state of Canada today. Even Australia, on the other side of the world, is signing deals with America, and Canada can't sign one. And Trump has said it multiple times in frustration that Canada is the most difficult country to negotiate with. And Trump is not saying that as a compliment, unfortunately. Carney is again pushed to the side of a photo op. The broken Trump-Carney relationship at the APEC summit in South Korea was evident. Canada will suffer because of the Liberal Prime Minister's decision. Yeah, it's we're the ones who pay for it. He said, and some people are saying that he benefits from all of this because Brookfield holds most of his assets south of the border. Like they don't have, like most of Carney's wealth is outside of Canada. And he benefits from the U.S. economy growing while the Canadian economy falls apart. Short little video here. You got Trump, and then you have other prime ministers and leaders, and Carney's all the way at the end. Let me try to get that picture there for you. So there you go. You got Trump. You got, I think that's Albanese from Australia, and you have, I think that's South Korean, either president or prime minister. And you got Canada all the way over here. This is no coincidence. The fact that Canada is all the way over there is no coincidence. Canada is being pushed to the side, and it's all on the Liberal government. Canada is becoming more and more irrelevant on the world stage, and it's all because of these people. This guy right here. I thought Trudeau was bad. This guy is working to be even worse. Here's a very interesting tweet put out by Ivano De Fazio. Hopefully I'm not messing up your name, man. Now it's starting to make sense. Mark Carney's successor, Brookfield, poses with Trump as they sign a massive nuclear deal. Mark Carney is not for Canada, but for his corporate global elitist. How much money is Mark Carney making behind the scenes? Here you have a video of the current CEO of Brookfield, the company that Mark Carney was the head of previously and is presumably heavily invested in still, posing with President Donald Trump for a multi-million deal on nuclear. Carney also recently announced a nuclear reactor initiative up here in Canada. This guy's just grifting. This guy's just benefiting himself at the cost of destroying what was once a good country.
Of America, we're going to be developing energy, we're going to be developing nuclear, semiconductors, and strengthening the entire domestic supply chain. So I'd like to kick it off, right? And the first company I'd like to announce is Westinghouse, which will invest up to $100 billion in nuclear reactors to restore U.S. energy dominance. And we have the co-signer is Bruce Flatt, who's the chairman and CEO of Brookfield Asset Management. So come on up.
You got Brookfield CEO right there. Brookfield CEO. So again, Carney's making money as Canada crumbles, as Canada continues to fall apart, as the economy in this country decays while Canadians are distracted and keeping their elbows way up and watching the World Series thinking that that's going to make a difference in their lives. Mark Carney is getting richer and richer and lining his pockets as he destroys a G7 country's economy. Unbelievable. So here's one more tweet, and I'm going to leave you with this one. This one is from Government is Corrupt, or government.x is corrupt. Yeah, I think this is the government house leader here for the Liberals, Steve McKinnon. And the tweet says, Steve McKinnon believes there will be a Christmas election. I believe the Liberals will win a majority if we have another election. This is why Ford and Carney sabotage trade negotiations with the United States. Liberals need Trump as an enemy. This is something I've been talking about for a while, too. They need Trump. They literally won using Trump as the enemy. They somehow brainwashed and manipulated Canadians into thinking that their closest and strongest ally was somehow their enemy. The United States was somehow the enemy and not the people who have been in power for 10 years ruining Canada.
Are you still negotiating with?
All of them?
All of them.
Yeah, well, I don't know if negotiating is the word, but we're certainly hearing.
Are there any meetings scheduled up until now to the budget?
There have been many meetings. The finance minister, the prime minister, as you know, has had several meetings. Others, in my own case, yeah, we continue to talk to the opposition.
What are we heading towards election in English?
Well, I don't know. That's up to the opposition. I mean, in the case of Mr. Poilievre, he's determined to try and cause a Christmas election to perhaps, I don't know, maybe avoid the scrutiny that his party's giving him right now.
Giving the NDP more resources on the table to get their support for this budget?
Look, the NDP, I think, have made plain their request for that. You'll have to talk to them about
But is that on the table to get
I
their support?
I don't get to decide for. I want to be very clear about this. The government does not decide on alone on support for opposition parties.
Constituents telling you about an election.
Yeah, they know about Christmas election.
Constituents telling you about an election.
Yeah, they know about Christmas election.
There you have it. The Liberals in Canada are again using America as the enemy. Trump is the biggest threat to Canadian democracy as their talking point, as their campaign ad, as their campaign motto, whatever you call it, to, again, attempt to manipulate Canadians into buying it. And, I mean, they bought it last time, and now they're sabotaging real negotiations with the Americans to possibly run in another election and say, hey, I'm your savior. Who else do you think is going to negotiate tough with the Americans and this and that? And Canadians might just buy it again. Hey, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to be notified every time a new video is published, hit the subscribe button and activate the notifications bell. It's completely free and it helps our channel grow. A heartfelt thank you to all our channel members. I really appreciate your support. See you all in the next one. Peace.